It is spreading like a disease on Montana's Fort Peck Indian Reservation. It is methamphetamine addiction that claims more lives each and every day, either through addiction or the violence that this drug creates. Q2's Asia Gore on special assignment in Poplar, Montana, where officials and residents there are struggling to come to grips with the lethal cost of this insidious drug.
Well, Jay, the cost of addiction is paid in lives. Many of those lives are young and innocent. Brandon Sullivan and I met with one Poplar mother who says the loss of her son's life ended hers too.
I was up, pacing around in my kitchen. I just had a bad feeling. I really did.
What did you feel?
That he was dead. That's what I felt. I did. I felt it. Like I said, I've seen so much death. I don't know. Just so much young people dying. But he never wanted to leave. He just loved it here. I was so worried he was going to end up like this, and it did.
Duran Jackson took his final breath here. In July, he was stabbed to death. Jackson was 19. Just this year, 4 other young lives ended too soon at the hands of someone else.
Deaths of members that it shouldn't happen at this early of an age. You know, one of the manslaughter case I'm talking to you about this year was a 21-year-old kid who just happened to be my nephew. So, you know, it hits home, and yeah, a lot of the stuff that happens here, the individuals are too young.
Trottier says methamphetamine and alcohol fueled each one of these crimes. The substances also ended lives directly.
You know, I'm hoping that this is just an odd year or a freak year, but could be the start of something to come, you know.
If history is any indication, this trend should raise concern. As substance abuse increasingly plagues this small community, violent crimes begin to touch even the most innocent victims.
Of course, this abduction that we've had recently with a 4-year-old girl. That was really surprising, really shocking, and that kind of, you know, that got to us. The criminal investigators, law enforcement officers, the deputies, even a lot of members of the community. It was gut-wrenching, and it made everybody step back and think. I've never seen one particular case affect so many people like that one did.
She survives as a victim of sexual abuse, but 1-year-old Kensley Olson's life was ended.
To us in law enforcement, we all have kids, and when you get that kind of traumatic in our communities, it hits home hard to us. That night when I went home, first thing I did was hug my kids.
Children of all ages lost to violence, consumed by addiction.
You're either going to end up in prison or dead, or you might be the lucky one and go off to college or the service.
Jackson was enrolled with the Army National Guard when he died. He may not have been lucky, but Frederick says Jackson was one of the good ones.
It's a little too close to me.
The death, the loss, inches closer and closer, touching every single life here in some way. Last year, the average age of death was 60. The county's 24 cemeteries are full. This community knows something has to change, but with each new day and life that passes, hope fades away. One of the things I heard over and over again is that this county is forgotten. It has this drug problem that local officials know about, but they need help from state and federal authorities. Now that this story has aired, we hope to hear from Montana legislators about treatment, punishment, and prevention, and of course the funding needed for each of those elements. Jay?